And my Miro board's on the screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, hey, everybody. It's the 19th of April, 2023. This is Plutus PBL live coding. We get together every Wednesday and Thursday from 1430 to 1600 UTC. And all the details about these sessions are posted at gimballabs.com and at plutuspbl.io. This session is really dedicated to people who are working through the Plutus PBL course right now. Currently, the first 5 modules in the course are live. The 6th one is going to go live next week. It was supposed to go live this week, but the title of the module used to be 3 ways to mint a token, and we had to change it to 5 ways to mint a token because so much is happening on Cardano right now. So please excuse that little delay of a week, but the real goal is here to build quality content that will be valuable over time. And so we didn't want to rush into putting something that really didn't cover the depth of what's possible right now. So the new module will go live on Monday. Here, let me lock this thing.
Thank you.
Today, you bet. For today, and for many weeks in the future, one of the things we want to do with live coding is just have breakout rooms. And so we started streaming a little bit after the start of the meeting today. And off air, the folks here just had a conversation about how we want to handle breakout rooms. And what we're going to do is we're all going to have a chance to share, if we want to right now, the things that we'd like to be talking about. And then we'll do a quick pulse check on which of those breakout rooms the most people want to attend. And we're going to keep that one as the main room where this live stream will continue, while other breakout rooms will not be recorded. Okay, those can be just spaces where people are getting together and working on projects. And if you'd like to be part of something like that, we hope you'll join us here at Live Coding sometime soon. So on my screen is a little template that we can use today. And the link to this board is in the chat. Let me share it one more time, just so you have it if you need it. Hello, the one. What's up, sir? If you can make it into this Miro board, there's a space on the left-hand side for questions. And the idea for all of this is you can use sticky notes. So I'm clicking on the sticky note icon over here. Choose whatever color you'd like. Make it a size where you can read it. And if you have a question, you can just type it here. Is Demeter working, for example, right? Or this can be a technical, practical question, or it can be a big picture question, something you've been wondering about. And in the very same way, if you want to work on a particular task, an assignment or a lesson, you could drop a note here. And this is your signal to other people that this is what you're working on, and maybe they can join you if you guys want to get together. I'm going to skip over the matrix for now, just in the interest of getting into what people really want to talk about, and focus for today on these breakout room boxes down below. And we're going to run this similar to open spaces. So if you're familiar with that protocol, great. But if you're not, here's the main idea. Anybody can suggest a session topic for a breakout room. And in order to do that, same thing, just grab a sticky note, drop it here, and you can write the name of the topic you'd like to discuss, okay? If you're not on Miro for whatever reason, you just want to shout out a topic, I'll scribe it for you and add it to one of these breakout rooms. Let's spend just 2 minutes thinking about that right now, okay? And giving people a chance to add topics here. If there's more than 4 topics, just keep adding them here. We can have as many breakout rooms as we need, and you can keep dropping sticky notes below. At the end of 2 minutes, we'll just do a quick pulse check on how many people are interested in each breakout room. And like I said, we'll keep the most popular one here in the main room. Does anybody have any questions about this protocol before we get started? All right.
Nope.
2 minutes. Oh, go for it. Yep.
Right. It's about, the kind of rolling one could be like in the lower levels and then two higher levels. Do you think? Because that way,
Oh, yeah.
right? Okay. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. There's no rules. There's nothing that's too high or too low level to be suggested as a breakout room here.
Got it. I was referring to 100s, 200s, 300s, 400s.
Yeah.
Would be
Yeah.
100.
If people want to work through module 100 together, that would be a worthy topic for a breakout room.
Got it. Thanks.
I'm going to set a little Miro timer right here and just let it run for 2 minutes, and we'll come back together when time's up. And just once again, if you don't have Miro open and want somebody else to write something, just unmute and shout it out.
Oh, I know that noise.
James, I think you're muted.
Certainly, I'm just talking to myself here, Nelson. Yeah, so this is cool. And Solo, when you're ready, just drag that sticky over here to the breakout rooms, because I think that's a great topic. And whoever's writing right here, feel free to add that when you're ready. These are great. So yeah, I see that like maybe we can combine these, like working on module 102 with the mastery assignment on 102. Is it okay if I put those in the same spot?
Yeah.
That should work.
And this working on installing the Cardano node locally, that's a 102 thing.
Oh, it is. Great. That's right.
Yeah.
This looks like there's some specific troubleshooting to do here. So I could argue for leaving these separate or combining them. Anybody got a strong feeling on that?
Combining them will be a quick way to get a large audience.
It's true. Okay, so we can troubleshoot some of these messages and then jump into the mastery assignments. That's great. There's some environment setup. I know these are maybe not directly related, but I think they're kind of on a similar coin. This is awesome. If we don't fully get to this today, I would love to do some live troubleshooting on why the token might not be locking. And it looks like maybe we throw this one here, open project ideas. How's that look to everybody? It's a nice 4.
There you go. Nice.
Okay. So just really quick, yeah, there's a voting, it's possible to vote here, but well, you know what, to keep this simple, we're just gonna, basically the way voting works in Miro is that you have to assign it to some of the objects, and you can see we've got a bunch of sticky notes here. There's a total of 10. So, you know, if you want to vote for breakout room number 1, just be sure to click on any of these sticky notes, and we'll just add. If it's like 1 + 1 + 1, we know that's 3. Good. So you can just click on one of these if you're in the Miro board. If you're not in the Miro board, just drop your choice 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the Zoom chat right here, and we'll add that to the tally. Okay. This is easier to understand once we start it. So I'm going to press start, and if you have questions about how to vote, just speak up or share your questions in the chat. So I could click on one of these, and there my vote would be recorded.
And we're voting for what gets recorded. Exactly.
You're saying where you intend to go, and wherever the most people intend to go, that's going to stay here in the main room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm right here then.
And you can see on my screen, we can see the tally of how many people are done. When that gets to 11, I'll just stop the clock. And if you're not on Miro and want to express your voice, just drop a number in the chat.
I voted, but I'm not sure if I voted properly. So anyway.
We'll see. Hey, if you realize afterwards that it wasn't what you meant to say, just let us know. And we'll. This is not yet an on-chain vote.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's see how far this gets us. And thank you, everybody, for, one of the goals of this course is to start moving us towards some really small scale versions of patterns that are going to apply much more broadly. And there's a lot more I could say about that, but just this example for now, right? It's a relatively trivial decision to make, just to decide what we record today, right? Compared to some of the bigger problems that we hope to solve in the long term. But this is practice, and see it. How long does it take to make a group decision like this, right? How could we make it better? These are the things that are going to really inform the work ahead of building governance on chain in the years to come. So what do we get? I see 1 vote for room 1, 1 for room 2, 3 for room 4, and it looks like 4 + 1 in the chat, so 5 for breakout room number 3. So for today, we're going to keep these topics in the main room, working through module 102 together, maybe by first doing a little troubleshooting and then jumping into the assignments. And what I'll do right now is I'll set up another room. I'm going to call this one development environment. Okay. That's breakout room number 1. We can call the second one project ideas. And this one module 103. And I'll be happy to take a look if people are just having technical problems getting this commitment to work. I'm happy to stick around after the conclusion of live coding today, or to really just spend the first few minutes tomorrow on this one. Okay, if it turns out we need to do that. But if you can figure it out in this room, that's also really cool. There's a room 4 that it's just going to be available if anybody needs to peel off anytime and go have some other side conversation. So I'm going to open these rooms now. You can opt into any of these, and just keep in mind, if you want to focus on module 102, that's what we're going to be doing right here in the main room. Any questions before we break and start to focus?
We can change our mind in terms of where we're going to be at, right?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, there's like open spaces. If you look it up, it's really my favorite protocol, and there's a couple of laws of open spaces, and one of them is the law of 2 feet, which I don't know how that really applies in Zoom, right? Because you're supposed to be able to walk from table to table, but I guess you can click from breakout room to breakout room. And the key thing is you are free to leave any room at any time for another one, and nobody else is allowed to second guess you for that. Right. This is so move where you need to go.
And it's not rude. It's not rude. And the people there don't take it personal and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We're expected to go find the place that makes us feel like we're really getting something for our time.
Cool.
All right. So we'll open this up. I'll stick around in the main room right here. Have fun. Thank you all for experimenting in governance at a small scale. My instinct is to start here with a couple of error messages. Who posted this one right here?
Oh, I did that. I was trying to do the lucky number assignment, but Demeter wasn't. It was showing these 2 error messages.
Can we do a quick, would you be willing to screen share on this one?
Sure, yeah.
Thanks, Harsh.
I can do it in a minute because I need to get Demeter running.
Take your time. That's great. That's great.
And then, yep. Because I would like to talk project ideas. Maybe in the interim. Did I write that down somewhere? Yeah, I would like to have some web app, some spot where people can go on a web page that's Web3ified, that basically either, receives or distributes, ADA transactions that we can hook up a wallet, even, and I'm sort of looking for like the first, the hello world on Cardano development page for one, to do it, and then 2, to show people that I can do it. Maybe it's a simple game or a simple quiz, like you answer a question or 2 and then or click on the red dot, and then that satisfies a condition and you get something. Yeah, some type of some type of interactive, and I don't know if that's on chain, and I don't know if like that's sort of, these are the questions that I'm trying to figure out while we're waiting. I'm just vamping while Harsha gets his thing set up.
There's a project coming up, Newman, that I'll be really curious to hear from you to what level it supplies this hello world ness, right? And
right.
If it can be something else, it'll be really good to get your thoughts.
Well, the beauty of the hello world is it sort of starts, and then you're like, oh, I can make something show up on the screen, and then you can change it to something else. So yeah, like the beginning is definitely the hard, is the part, and then with a community you can say, you can find someone that wants to build something out. I mean, from my personality, I like to work shoulder to shoulder with folk. And so it's like finding those creative ideas to take that hello world into the next spot, but not out of my zone of proximal development. Meaning, like my cohort that kind of understands the same things that I understand, and that we build something appropriate to our skill level and mastery.
It's one of my favorite concepts. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Dropping it in there.
Yeah, man. So, okay, so module 204 is called the PPBL faucet project or mini project. And the goal there is to build an end-to-end instance of a faucet where somebody who holds one token can pull your tokens from a contract address. And so it's both using a token gated contract and creating a front end for that. But in that family of kind of hello world applications, I'll be really curious what outcomes that you have in mind are accomplished and not from that project there, and we can definitely build from there.
And are we using React for the front end?
In this case, we are, right, as a place to start. But right, so two things about that.
I just so you know.
Yeah, no, like I recognize like learning smart contract design patterns and React at the same time is maybe impossible. Okay. But what we're trying to do here is give you just enough that you can see the architecture of the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I'm hoping that we can provide is that you don't have to become a React developer just to look at a few critical lines of code and say, oh, I see how that piece fits together. But that's a moving target. That's right. But we'll see how close we can get.
Cool. Yeah. That sounds great. And thank you. I see. As Harsh, are you?
Yeah.
You in
yeah.
the spot?
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I'm trying to query the UTXOs from the wallet address, but like this keeps showing up.
Yeah.
And this is the mastery assignment on 102 in between.
Change lucky number.
Right. So you have to be hooked up. You have to have access to a Cardano node in order to do this assignment. And Demeter is one of our options for getting that access. So the first thing, if I see that there's an error looking up an environment variable, the first thing to do is just to see if there's some value for that yet. And so you can echo $, that variable name, Cardano node undersocket, node socket path with all the underscores. And let's just see what it tells us.
This is exciting.
Right. And this verifies what we would have expected here. There's not a node socket path showing up. Now, why? Can you do Cardano? Can we just check the version of Cardano node? So Cardano dash node and then dash dash version. So clearly we have a node set up. And yeah, why? Has anybody else run into this case of it seeming not to have the node running when you've used Demeter? Hey,
So,
James, welcome back.
So I went through and replicated this error on my Demeter, and I got the same error.
Okay.
And I did send them a help request.
part of me, I'm wondering if this is temporary, like something that was working is not anymore, or if they're changing something. Hey, Harsha, in the tab to the left of this one, you've got your Demeter like dashboard.
Demeter dashboard as in,
Like the website. So like VS
oh, yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
over in
yeah.
this tab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down a little bit more to see the extras? Cardano CLI binaries. Okay, just scroll up a little bit. Up a little bit more. I'm looking at this section right here, these extras. And so maybe there's a setting in the extras where we have to add the node setup. Let's check that.
So should I edit the extras?
Yeah, let's try that. You got all of them. Okay, that's not it.
So can you click into those Cardano binaries? Are there like settings, or is that a link into more stuff? Yeah. No.
Okay, then what about down below? There's like there's another category, connected extensions.
Oh, there's a thing
Perhaps-
called environmental variables in there. Sorry. Bust in.
Oh, that could be. That could be. We might have to set the environment variable, but if we tried to, I wouldn't know what to point it to, right? Like that Cardano node socket path has to point to your database and your node socket file. And I don't know where that is on this remote server.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be a path to it in the start script? If there is
Maybe,
something-
okay, if we could find that start script, that might be it. So is there a place in? So there's two things. Let's check that, but just to humor me, can you click on that browse extensions button, Harsha? I'm just wondering if we have to enable some kind of node. Yeah, look, Cardano nodes. Let's see. And by the way, look at the other exciting things in this list. Yeah, let's connect to pre-prod with the left-hand button there. Notice this is going to be a lot more DCUs to have access to this node right here. And so you want to be sure to turn this off when you're not using it, because it's going to burn through them even faster. But I think this might be the change we need.
Oh, should I
How-
reload the page?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe reopen it, because it might, like, if it's unavailable right now, that would make sense because you just added something to it. So maybe we have to launch again. Okay, it's provisioning with that change. That makes sense. Did everybody see that right there? This is going to be a pretty important step, and we'll have to add it to the Demeter documentation in the course, because I think by default, even just a few weeks ago, this was turned on, but it looks like it no longer is, which is good. That makes a lot of sense, right? That's very resource intensive on the side of the Demeter team to just provision a node for everybody who makes a Demeter account, whether they need it or not. And so I like their decision to just make us turn it on.
I'm gonna verify it here. I'm turning mine on.
And anybody have questions, whether it's just practical about what we just did there, or does this raise any bigger picture questions for anybody that you're wondering about?
I'm checking out the extensions. Cardano DB Sync. OGME. Ogmios.
Ogmios, yeah.
Submit API, webhooks. Cupo.
Kupo, yeah.
Kupo. For
Oh,
block.
it worked. It worked.
It
Finally.
worked. Nice.
Another thing we're trying to do with this course is create what's called a need to know. We want you as students to want to need to know about things like Kupo and Ogmios, and behind the scenes, even in the activities you've done so far, we're trying to get you to notice little inefficiencies so that by the time we show you Kupo, you'll be like, oh, I know why that needs to exist now. So we're getting there. We're on route.
Okay.
All right, you got a working Demeter environment. Cool. And so now we can really play around with module 102. Is anybody working on that right now and maybe wants to share screen and drive the conversation here by working through that assignment?
I can share my screen. One sec.
Yeah, thanks, Harsha. Yeah, let's keep it going. And anybody else who's working on this one and has questions, this is a great time to just jump in, whatever sorts of things you're wondering about.
So I put in. I'm just trying to test this out, and I think we just put in the command and then the address behind it. I think this works. Okay, yeah, mine worked. I'm gonna shut it down though.
Yeah, smart.
And then actually go back onto trying to get it onto the pre-prod onto my local machine.
Is there any targeted troubleshooting you need there? It's just a matter of getting it synced.
I'm working through it. I probably will bounce back in and if when any kind of error happens. Is this the right room? Looks like there's a room with module 103. That's not this. So I'll pop in here and see if anybody's back in there, but I'm chugging away.
So I mentioned we're building a case for Kupo. And on the screen in front of us is a bit of an initial example, actually. All right, Harsha, how do you feel going through line by line and finding which UTXO is yours?
It seems like a task.
It's ridiculous. You would never build an app that made people do this, right? So I want to be really clear here. You're under the hood right now, but clearly we want to automate this part, right, of matching up which of these contributor reference UTXOs belongs to you, is associated with your contributor token. So, yeah, what are the last few hex digits of your token name?
Of my token name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see it. Oh, you can see it right here. Yeah. So
This guy.
6C. Yeah, the end of that. That's what That's what you're really searching for. And I think you can actually search the terminal window. Or just keep your eyes out for that 6130 at the end of the asset name. Now, I mentioned before we started streaming, right? This is on-chain data that anybody can take and do whatever they want with it. So I don't know if everybody has had a chance to just click the link into the contributors page on the PPBL website, but if you have, what you'll see there is a list of tokens for this course. And there's some data associated with each of those tokens. All of that data is sourced directly from these raw UTXOs that we're looking at on Harsh's screen right now, okay? As such, anybody can use them, and nobody at Gimbal Labs can stop you from using this data however you want to in any context or application you might build. That's pretty mind-blowing, right? Like this is a wild frontier of development to think about. This is the kind of the concept of a headless dApp, right? Take this data, tell your own story with it. Is there a search? Can you, like, the 3 dots in VS in the terminal I see next to the trash can? Is there like a search option? No. Can you just click in the terminal area and just press like Command F?
Like click in.
Yeah, just click into the terminal there and then like, yeah, search. There we go.
Oh,
Now you can
okay.
search for your token name and that's going to find it for us.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
That's yours. But now
Oh.
if you go down, we should find it. Oh, and sorry. It's not going to find with the 323232 on the front of it. All right. Just search for everything after that. 5050.
Oh, okay.
It's the hex string, okay? 323232. That's 222, which is the, as suggested in SIP68, the prefix for the token held in somebody's wallet. But the tokens at the contract address have a different prefix, 313030, which is 100. There it is. I can see it
Oh,
now.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's your UTXO.
Mm. So contributor reference asset, I'm just like looking for what that is.
That's the, just like you grabbed the string representing your token asset from your wallet address, you can grab the whole asset string from the UTXO at the contract address.
Okay.
That's the asset. And after what we can do here, yeah, that's it right there. Okay. After we do this, let's spend just a few minutes looking at the actual validator code for this to see what's going on here. Okay. Well, let's see if it works first.
So
Roberto,
this,
okay.
the contributor reference asset ID is not the same as the token ID that I have in my wallet? Or is
Bingo.
it the,
Bingo. They're almost exactly the same. Look at line 18 and line 21. The policy ID is the same up in your random.txt file up above.
yeah,
Or yeah, you can look right there, right? Policy ID, everything before the period is precisely the same.
okay.
Everything after the period, it only differs in the first 3 hex digits. Okay, and a
Oh,
hex digit is
okay.
2 characters, keep in mind, right? So 31, 30, 30 is different from 32, 32, 32. And then everything after that is again the same.
Makes sense, makes sense.
Roberto, what are you thinking?
Quick question. So every time we are talking about an asset, that is the policy ID plus the token name in hex, right?
That's right. Now, to add to the difficulty, as if there wasn't enough things to understand here, these asset IDs, when you look at them on Cardano CLI, they have a period in them.
Yep.
But if you're working in mesh, for example, in the front end, there's no period. Or like if you look it up on Cardano scan, there's no period. I don't know why. It's just, that's how it is, right? So sometimes you're going to see that dot in between, and you got to kind of remember what context you're working within. I've had plenty of errors that I've been banging my head against where I'm like, oh, I left the period in there. That's why this isn't working.
Okay, so
But how do you separate the asset name then in that case if there's no period?
Well, so in React, for example, you're using JavaScript, right? You just know that the policy ID is 56 characters long. It always is, right? So the token name can be any length, but the policy ID is always the first 56 characters of an asset name.
So when we say asset ID, we are always talking about the policy ID. Those are interchangeable terms.
Asset ID is the concatenation of policy ID and asset name.
Oh, so what's the difference between an asset and an asset ID?
I think the asset ID is what specifically identifies this asset. Think about it, right? So I have an NFT, it is an asset.
Mhm.
To identify that asset, I need its entire asset ID, which consists of policy ID plus token name, right? And that distinguishes it from other assets with the same policy ID, which is the case in like an NFT series.
Right. So like asset is just a general term and asset ID is your specific asset.
It's kind of like the legal representation, like you and your ID. You are, of course, the real life manifestation of you, but to a government entity, your ID is you, right? So it's kind of like a representation.
Oh, asset ID plus quantity. That makes
Claudio,
sense.
that's brilliant. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So I got confused earlier. I didn't know that this discussion was supposed to happen in this room. I ended up hopping onto breakout room 3. So, okay, but I got an explanation from I think his name is Maureen, or he explained that difference. I was also facing the same reference token issue, and he explained it in a way how to find it and everything.
And thanks for hey, you'll only be brand new here once. Okay. So now that you kind of know how things work, we're
Right.
slower.
Right.
So Harsha, I noticed that one of the errors said protocol JSON is
Yeah.
missing. Okay, so this is, oh, it looks like you have it there, but what directory are you in? You're in the transactions.
I
Oh.
faced the same problem. I had to actually pull that protocol JSON. I did into the transaction folder.
Yeah.
Not sure if it would work, but I had the same exact error when I first ran this.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And now just to take a further step back, okay, when you're building an application, you don't necessarily know when somebody's going to use that application. And there's a chance that in the year between the time you build something and the time somebody uses it, those protocol parameters will change. Okay, so in an application at scale, it's actually, you're actually going to be querying those protocol parameters at regular intervals. Okay. And that's just like, that's like a core piece of what any of these services, whether it's Block Frost, Koios, the list goes on. You're gonna be querying those. Hey, before you sign and submit, I have something I want to ask. Can you just show us, first of all, can you go back to the datum, the new datum file that you created and included here? Yeah. This is, or I guess it's the update number file, right? Is the one that you're defining a number in. So you're in the process right now of changing your lucky number to what's on your screen here, 1322. Okay. Just so people have context around this, do you mind jumping back over to the PBL website?
Yep.
And from the top menu at the top of the page, one of the links in the nav bar says contributor list.
The very top.
Yeah, all the way at the top.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Okay. And this is on-chain data, right? And if you find your token in this list, you can search for it too. Or we can just scroll through.
What was your token name?
It's GULLA 0.
I know that tag.
I like the Roland of Gilead.
It's pretty fun looking through these, Mrs. Schnortel. I know who that is. All right, look right here, your lucky number is 5. Okay, and after this transaction, this is the key thing, that number is going to change. Okay.
How quick does it update?
Ooh, it's not bad. Let's look at that too.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, I don't know how to look at in Demeter. I just haven't learned myself how to look at the node. But if you have your node running locally, you can actually see your transaction enter the mempool, and then after it's confirmed, exit the mempool. And that's kind of a fun thing to watch. All right, looks like it was successful.
Oh, nice.
All right. So now you have a successful transaction that's waiting to be accepted on chain. If you ever hear the word mempool, this is what it means, right? You're waiting to be picked up and included in a block. And James, what's finality at right now? It's still 24 hours, right? Like which is an extremely unusual edge case. Okay, and I don't think we've ever seen like a really catastrophic rollback on Cardano mainnet yet. But you know, like by the time this data right here updates, we're still only at like 99.5% certain that that's a valid transaction. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
That wasn't too bad.
Ooh,
And this
nice.
on pre-prod, it's a little faster than mainnet because it's a smaller network. Nice work. Congratulations. Anybody else have questions about what we just looked at there?
Hey James, just like a random question. So what is the 20+1 stuff here and here?
Excellent. Yeah, can you query just your wallet address again? And,
Yeah.
and we'll look at how to answer that question.
Yeah.
And you could just tap tapping the up arrow will take a while because you have all those commands. Never mind.
a quick question while that is going on. There's a question in the chat that I also been wondering about. So what is an ACID fingerprint then? What is that referring to? Oh, there we go. Is it
Audio.
it's a hash of the ACID ID?
Yep. And I'm not sure, I haven't come upon a use case for when I need to use those fingerprints directly, but if anybody has an interesting case, I think that would be an interesting thing for us to add. So this, when you see in your TX out, Harsha, right, you've
Yeah.
got the sender address plus everything in these quotation marks, okay?
Mhm.
First of all, if you're only including Lovelace in a UTXO out, you don't actually need the quotation marks. You could ignore those and just have sender address plus integer.
Mhm.
Okay? But anytime we add additional assets to the value or the amount in the UTXO, this is the syntax. We use those quotes. The first number is always going to be the Lovelace right there. And then a space. And then that's why we need the quotes, right? There's a space and then this plus sign, and then a space, and then a quantity, and then an asset ID. Okay, in this case, one contributor token asset. And that maps pretty much directly to what you see. That's highlighted down below on your screen, right? You got the 2 ADA, right? The 2 million Lovelace plus one of this asset.
And the 2 million, is that specified for something like specific? What is it used for? Or is it the amount that is sent along the token? Or is that necessary? That, I guess that's what I'm trying to ask.
Can you say it again? Which part?
The 2 million Lovelace in that quantity, contract address plus 2 million Lovelace in quotation.
Yes.
What exactly is that 2 million Lovelace used? What is it's used for?
Excellent. Okay, to answer that question, let's make a few errors. And one of my favorite things to do with Cardano CLI, forget about the signing and submitting step for just a few minutes, but let's try to build a few wrong transactions and read the errors. Okay, and let's start with this one. So I think, Harsha, we're going to need you to grab from, like in your random.txt file, we just need to redefine the UTXOs we're using real quick. Everything else is going to be exactly the same. But we need the new hash, and it's actually going to be the same TX hash, right? So I see down below 7F3909 is the TX hash that was just output by the transaction you built.
Mhm.
And so that's the new contributor token TX in.
Yeah. Should I
Right.
change the contributor
That one,
transaction in?
yeah. Line 16, yeah. But now remember that, and this is going to be at index 1. Yep, you got it. Remember that UTXO came from the transaction you just built. So it's actually going to be the same TX hash that you need on line 19 now as well. Your contract TX in is going to have the same hash. And because of the way you built this transaction, where the TX out to the contract address came first, and the TX out to the sender address came next, right? That means contract address is at index 0, and sender address is at index 1, just like you already typed on line 16. Okay, so without even querying the contract address again, we know what we have to place on line 19. It's going to be that same TX hash with index 0. And then, by the way, I see that same TX hash again for your fees. Your fee and collateral UTXO also has to be replaced. But look, down below, same hash again. And this time with index 2, which should also make sense because after your TX out to contract, TX out to sender address, then you have this change address, sender address in your last transaction build. That's the third output, therefore index 2. And that's confirmed by what we see down below in your terminal window. Okay, but I want to answer Solo's question. Okay, so now if you grab all those variables, drop those back in to the terminal for us. And then can you grab that transaction build yeah, from the website. But for just a moment, paste this whole block into your text file so we can change it in a couple of ways. Okay. And the first thing I want to change is that 2 million number we were just looking at. So on line 34, change that to, well, you know what? Let's just change it to 1 ADA for now. Okay. 100, yep. 1 million, and paste that whole thing now. And let's try to build this transaction. All right, it doesn't work. What's the error it tells us?
Like minimum gas fees for.
You could think of this as gas fees in a way, right? But it's not a transaction fee. It's not gone forever. This is the minimum Lovelace that has to be added to a UTXO. And it depends on the protocol parameters. This is not a flat number. It depends on a couple of things. One, are there native assets or not in a UTXO? Is there datum or not in a UTXO? And as we'll see a little bit more in depth soon, you can also attach an entire smart contract to a UTXO. And when you do that, the min UTXO goes way up. It's like 20 ADA is the min UTXO if you want to include a whole script on chain. Okay. So I think that I heard recently that the bare minimum UTXO for just having Lovelace and nothing else is actually a tiny bit less than 1 ADA. I haven't confirmed it for myself yet. All right. But as you can see right here, this gives us a precise number, 1.142150 ADA, right? Min required UTXO.
So if you're building this this transaction, how do you know where to set that up so the transaction doesn't fail?
Okay, so now we get to, are we trying to be efficient or optimal, right?
Right.
And in laziness and not wanting to go too deep into this and overwhelm people the first time people see it, what I did in these documentation is just made it 2 ADA because I knew that was enough. But did it really have to be 2 ADA? No, it could have gotten away with a bit less than that, right? And if I was building an application with millions of users, you're damn right I would want to get that number right, because 1 million times 0.86 ADA is going to add up really fast, right? So yes, to build an app at scale, you want to make sure to get that min UTXO amount as precise as you possibly can. Okay.
Is there a way to set that dynamically, maybe so that you don't have to like even guess? So that, okay, when you run this transaction, it generates the 1.4 blah blah blah, and that gets rolled automatically into your, I don't know, your script or something.
Yeah, bingo, you can. And you know, as an exercise, you might choose to try to do that with Cardano CLI and some innovative bash scripts. But the good news is we're not really going to be using Cardano CLI all the time. And if you do choose to build an app where you're using it at scale, that's something you can do. When we jump into actually building transactions with Mesh, which we're going to start with next week, you'll see that Mesh just takes care of this part for us.
Yeah,
And it's
okay.
a small miracle, right? And thank goodness, right?
Right.
All right, can we try to break this thing in other ways? Okay, so that worked, right? We now the min is set. That's cool. Let's do another thing here. And you have the files set up already. I see that you have the Redeemer file called update number.json. And you've got a new datum file called new datum.json. All right. Let's put a different number for the lucky number in each of those. Perfect. All right. Now try to build that transaction. And you can just press the up arrow and run it again, right? We know this one works.
Oh, yeah.
Just change the file it's pointing to, right? All right, let's try this. Good. All right. Now there's something really cool happening here, right? The language at first is a little bit confusing to me, but you see where it says script debugging logs? Okay. We have a message there. It says new datum is not valid. Okay. And that message is actually written into our Plutus TX code, and we can go look for it. Okay. So if you've got the repo here, and I see over in your file explorer, there's the source folder that has the actual contracts in it. Yep. And we want to look at, oh, that's the, oh, wait a minute. No, it's not on this, right? You don't have this code in this repo yet. Sorry, let me send you a link right here. Here it is. Harsh, I'm dropping a link in the Zoom chat to a different repo on GitLab. I didn't want to include all this at once, but we'll add this code to this repo when the time is right.
Yep, yep.
If you jump into this link, we can look at the source code for this contract right here. Did that come through in the Zoom chat?
It did, it did. Are you able to see my screen?
Oh, no, I still see Demeter run window.
Oh, okay. So maybe I need to reshare. I'll just reshare it 1 second.
And thank you for driving today. This is great.
Oh, for sure.
Urshad's getting a workout. That's good.
All right, so here we've got a contrib token validator. So drop into that validator file. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's some Plutus syntax here. You're not going to learn all this at once right now, right? But just to dip our feet into this, I see on line 69, it says, oh, there's that error message. New datum is not valid, right? But then I kind of look, that's in a code block that starts on line 60. And line 60 says update completed modules. That's not really what we were just doing there. Right? What we were just doing is updating the number. So you see on line 71, another block opens up. Okay. And if you scroll down to the end of this block, you should be able to see that error once again on line 91. Okay, so this is right, just a little bit of Plutus right now, really getting into the Haskell here. This is checking the true or false value of a function called check updated datum. Okay. And check updated datum is defined on line 78. It's a Boolean. It's going to be true or false. Line 80 essentially means if there is no datum, return false. Don't allow this to happen if there is no updated datum included, which is a good thing. We want to prevent you from accidentally attaching no datum at all to your contributor token. Okay. And then if there is datum, and this is a Haskell keyword, just if we have some datum, make sure it matches the required datum, which is defined on lines 73 through 76. Okay. Now there's more to say here, but I'm going to leave it right here for the moment. And let's see if we can get some of these other error messages. Okay. First, notice that if you hold a contributor token, you're allowed to update your lucky number. That's the update number block that starts right again, 71 through 91 is that part. But scroll back up to that mastery datum bit, the block above this. Update completed modules on lines 60 through 69. Notice what token you need in order to change the list of your accomplishments, the modules you've completed. Look at line 68. And so, again, I'm not really interested in teaching all of the syntax of Plutus right now. We'll get there, and that takes time. But from a concept level, what we have here is we can say, look, if this token is present in a transaction, we can change the datum in one way. And if another token is present, we can change the datum in another way. Okay. And now you've got targeted access control, not just to spending from a validator, but precisely to who can update the datum and how. Personally, this part's mind-blowing. This part's even more interesting. Roberto's heard me say this like 3 times in the last 15 hours. So sorry, man. But I am so kind of crazy about this concept right now that we are able to now use datum as input and output, and in a very precise way, create rules for how it can be updated at different times.
So admin token would be the token that's in my wallet?
Now the admin token is the PPBL 2023 teacher token, and only 4 people hold it so far.
Oh.
Nice. Nice.
So
can we borrow one of those?
Yeah, we got you. You'll get one. You'll get one.
You can sell. You can sell it. You can sell it.
All of us will eventually be
Jokes.
Amen. Hey, listen, we got years of work ahead of us. But
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Right, to wrap up, let's try to get this error on line 68. Okay. If you got to run,
I gotta jump. See y'all later. Bye. Bye.
Thanks. Let's just change. We can use the same datum. I know that the name of your redeemer file and datum file are update number and new datum. So the new datum is going to work. Just for brevity, let's keep the update number file, but let's go into that file for just a moment. Update number.json. Yeah. Now, long story short, the first bit right here, the constructor, right? You see how it's a 1? That 1 points to index 1 in a list of things we can do with our transaction here. So again, because it's a list, 1 is actually the second item in the list. And you just saw this in the validator code. The first option in that list was to update the completed modules. The second item in that list was to change the lucky number. And the ordering there is actually not the reason for these indices, but we will look at that more closely later, okay? But just for sake of playing with this, I'll tell you that the constructor for updating your data, your completed modules is 0, okay? So change that 1 to a 0. And this is the one we have right here with updating the number is called a parameterized redeemer, because we're not only including the constructor, but we're also telling it an int, which is the parameter to that redeemer. If I want to update the mastery data, I actually don't need any parameters. So you can just get rid of everything in the purple square brackets for the fields right there. Yeah. Okay, and so this is basically the simplest redeemer you can write. Okay, give me the index 0, and there's no parameters to this redeemer. Cool. So already this is going to break our transaction. Okay, and switch over to new datum. Here, it really doesn't matter what the int is, but I want you to imagine a scenario where a student came along and said, hey, I want to put a bunch of stuff in that list right there, right? I'm gonna say that I've mastered all the modules, 100, 600, all of them, okay? And so you can imagine near the end of line 3 in those yellow brackets, somebody wanting to just give themselves credit for a bunch of things, right? So let's pretend you typed a bunch of stuff there, okay? But we don't need to, right? And actually that's going to be a syntax error because it has to be, you see the format of like int : 132. Here, if I want to use a string, it's going to have to be hex encoded and described as bytes. So we don't even need to take the time to do that. But let's just imagine that you've added perfectly formatted data that says you have all the experience in the world, and now you're trying to put it on chain. Cool. With our redeemer indexed at 0, that's what you're trying to do. And now try to build this transaction again. What do you expect to happen? And you see that error right there? Nice, right? All right. So in general, I mentioned it, like this is one of my favorite things to do with smart contracts. And this is, I think there's some nice kind of prototyping and testing that you can do just by building transactions with Cardano CLI that you know they work. And then you can make sure that you can reach all of your error messages. Right? Okay, well, if I do this, will I get the error message I expected? And obviously a testing suite is going to automate all of that. But as a way to learn how these things work, I really recommend this strategy as you start to kind of just get hands-on with these things. And yeah, like there's one more error there about the contributor token, right? I'll leave it to anybody who wants to play to try to get that error message to show up in the console right here. Yeah, so we have the error message at the end. I think the other part that's most important is where it says the script for transaction input 0, right? So especially because the truth is that most transactions for a decentralized application are going to end up interacting with several contracts at once. Knowing which input are we talking about is always going to be a valuable thing. How's that feel for today? Yeah, Harsha, thanks as always for driving this one.
For sure, yeah.
So we see you again tomorrow.
Yes.
Good. James, welcome back to the land of the living. It's good to see you.
Thanks, buddy. I've been down for a bit. I got a 7-day virus and it was no fun. I think this is the first time I got out of the bed like in a week. It's crazy. I was
And
down.
you came to see us? Gosh, that's touching.
I was watching you on TV and I'm like, I gotta met up and get on screen. I really want to just be here. I pulled my terminals up. I'm sweating like crazy, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
I hope you're feeling fully better soon. It's good to see you.
Couple more days, buddy. I'll be great.
Cool.
But I did get a lot of stuff done. So unfortunately, our bill got squashed. So we're gonna resubmit, but that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So we're still working on the political side of it.
Talk about bleeding edge.
Did you guys watch the live meeting with Gary Gensler yesterday? Getting just pummeled by the, oh my gosh. Was that great?
Like a short clip, and it looked harsh.
Yes, it was harsh. It was 5 hours and I watched it twice because I could not, I made notes on everything, all the strange things that he was saying. He wouldn't answer questions. They literally blatantly told him he does not have the authority. He's been working on this thing based off of criteria from 1933. And so they're saying there's no basis for this. He's totally overreaching. They're going to try and throw him out is what they said. They want to propose to get him removed. And so that really rings well for blockchain in the US. And so him getting out of the way would definitely make things a lot better for us, or at least him doing things a little bit differently, I should say. He just needs to rethink it, I think. But yeah, that's what I spent my time doing, just trying to keep my eyes open watching all this stuff. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. I got everything installed last week. I got Nix and everything. I was running transactions. I got Deno up. I got everything going. So I've been following along. But just more writing, man. Yeah, just more doing it. Missed you guys.
Same. It's a monetary system from 1933, an education system from God knows when. You know, we got work to do.
An industrial training education system does not meet the need of our new free thinking modern society. Yeah, we're not creating, you know, workers. We're creating free thinkers and creators, and that's a very different education system. Absolutely, guys, I'm with you.
Hope you got nothing to do for the next few years.
I'm here, man. I've got plenty to do, and it's all going to be with you guys. So. Sorry.
Harsh, thanks again for
For
running
sure.
that. Brilliant. And y'all, thank you as always. I'm looking forward to more of the same tomorrow.
I'm gonna stick around and keep working for it.
Yeah, Claudio, just I never responded to your chat at the beginning. GraphQL-API. Just throw a D dot on the front of that and it should work. Okay. Fun fact, these testnet Dandelion APIs are served from a laptop in Roberto's apartment. And so last time the pre-prod Dandelion was down, I was like, what's up? He said, oh, the laptop got unplugged. Okay, so like these are the days we're in right now. Okay, you know, it looks like magic, but you know, the concept of the cloud, there are servers running somewhere. James is running them, you know, to run the blockchain, right? There are computers running, and that takes work. But man, it does look like magic at the end of the day. But if you ever run into Roberto Morano, just make sure to say thanks. All right. You know what? I can leave this room open. I'm gonna make Juan the owner of this meeting. Okay, so just reach out to him if you have questions. I got to jump off. But appreciate y'all. See you soon.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Juan, are you staying on for a bit, bud?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Are you going to hang around for a little bit and work on some stuff, or are you pretty much done for the day?
I don't know, but I think James is referring Juan Sierra, not me. But it was nice, the conversation. You started with the EXE topic from yesterday. It was awesome. I saw Mr. Email.
In the email? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a stake pool operator, or are you learning, or are you building the education platform? Or are you just learning right now?
I'm building the education platform, and I am also a app developer.
Got it. Got it. Very cool. Yeah, I'm kind of new to this end of it. Obviously, it's really familiar because I work with it as a stake pool operator, but a lot of this stuff is, it's pretty new. And so I want to dive in to this end and learn it, just so I can start to construct more stuff. I have created some software. We created a wallet builder and a token creator, and I've done some stuff, but I really want to dig in deep and really master this so I can start doing significant things here in Vegas. But
yes,
I'm excited to be part of the group, man. I love being here, and I always, just so you know, Juan, if you're ever studying, I try and pop into the Discord in the study hall, the PBL study hall. And what I'll do is I'll click into the PBL study hall, and then I'll just start working on the modules. So if you ever see me in the PBL study hall, please jump in with me and we can go through the modules together if you need any help, or I might need help. Sometimes I get stuck and it takes me a minute to get unstuck. But I'm definitely more than happy to co-work with people. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'll pop into the study hall. How about you, Sulo, Sampa?
Solo. I'm new to all of this, and as we speak, I'm actually trying to run something, one of the assignments, and I'm having all kinds of headaches.
Oh, dude, you want to do, which assignment are you on?
I am on 102, actually. The last assignment of 102, the changing your lucky number assignment.
That's actually great because I haven't done that one yet. Let me pull it up real quick. Gimbal Labs. And damn it. I don't know how I got so sick. This was the worst. I haven't been sick like this in months. Glad it's over. All right, so let's see, starter kits. Modules. And which module are you in? You said 102?
102, the second assignment.
Okay. And so okay. Sorry, my computer's kind of loading slow here.
I don't know if something happened to my address. It got deleted or something. I'm querying the address and I'm not seeing any UTXO from it. It almost sounds like the address doesn't exist anymore.
So do you have the address with the hashtag and then the order of transactions, or is it just the address?
Just the address. I'm actually just trying to set the sender address to, of course, the address. And then I'm trying to query the address to set the UTXO in. And I'm querying and I'm not getting anything. I'm not sure if I'm setting something wrong or
Okay,
what is supposed to happen. Not sure.
let's look at it. You know, I don't know if I'm just like sick. How do I get to the modules, guys? I'm like clicking all over the place. I can't find it for some reason. I don't know what's, my head is like not working. Plutus based project learning, sign up. On board. And is it Learn Starter Kits or Plutus or Playground?
It's giving me a Cardano node socket error.
Oh, it is. That means
Yes.
your nodes, the node's not running.
Is it maybe my Demeter run not working?
If it's not on, check if it's running, bud.
It's running. I
Is it
might
fully
have ran out of DCU. I don't know. Let me pause and rerun again and see if it would work.
That could be it, yeah.
I'm like, why am I hitting this and it's not working? It's gotta be something.
I'm still,
Not sure.
I think they changed all the icons. I don't know, you guys. I'm having the hardest time finding the modules. Am I crazy? It's on the Plutus playground, right? Community meetings. Oh, man, my head is like not working right now. The
What do you
website,
mean? The links?
I can't even, right now my head is so messed up. I'm looking for the modules 102, 100. I can't find on the website where the modules are.
Yes.
Do you see
Switch.
modules?
I see Gimbal Labs, menu, calendar, videos, Treasury Escrow, Mint, Dandelion, Start Your Journey, Cardano Starter Kits, People Learning Together, Gimbal Labs,
No,
Gimbal.
but
Alright. I just added a link to the thing. It's the assignments.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
You can just back out of the module. That's the module to the link to 102.
Okay, cool. Let me connect my wallet real quick.
I must jump off. See you
Okay.
later, guys.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'm here. So it says change your lucky number. This is a guide mastery. Okay, this assignment, you will demonstrate mastery of learning targets. So
Yes.
I can lock and connect addresses using Cardano CLI. I can lock funds in a contract using Cardano CLI. Okay, when minted your PBL 2023 contributor token, which we did, we minted one of the tokens in the browser wallet and we minted the other token in the contract address. These two tokens have a relationship and they have similar names. The token in your browser has the name with our alias. And then the token in the contract has this name with our alias. This token is partially implemented to design the design pattern suggested CIP68 data metadata standards through the PBL 2023 to work together to build our understanding of CIP68 and decide whether it sufficiently supports the design of the PBL 2023 token. This will determine whether to fully adopt the CIP suggested changes in draft CIP. Okay. So we know what a CIP is, Cardano Improvement Proposal. Okay, which part of the CIP68 does PBL to implement? Okay. It's a reference NFT user token. Okay, here is a description of CIP68. The basic idea is to issue assets, one referencing the other. We call these two a reference NFT, where the token can be an NFT, an FT, or other asset. And you guys know FT is fungible token, other asset class and transferable and represents any value. Okay, so we understand this. Which part of the CIP68 does the PBL token not implement? At Live Coding 2023, CIP68 is not currently applied in the PBL 2023 token. Make sure you read CIP to bring your ideas. Okay, what does the datum on your PPBL token look like? On-chain PPBL reference datum looks like this. So we have the inline datum, we have the constructor, the fields, the int. So that would be the integer, and then the list. So it looks like it's going to print out a list for us. And then in Plutus, it looks like this. So we have the lucky number, the integer. So do you have a share? Can you share your screen, Solo, so we can kind of see where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, I think, give me 1 second and let me see if I can quickly share my screen.
Now here is what we want to notice. int5 on-chain datum corresponds to lucky number. So int5 is lucky number, okay? And then in the Plutus type list is the on-chain datum corresponding to the completed modules in the Plutus type. So it's gonna print that list, and we minted a PBL 2023 token number 5 in an empty list of completed modules. And in this assignment, you will change your lucky number. We will add completed modules to your list as the course progresses. So your task, update your lucky number. Okay, so the Plutus validator stipulates that you can change the lucky number for your token. Review the source code of the validator here. And now you do not need to understand everything written in the Plutus validator code. This assignment will use the compiled validation script to build the transaction. As we dive deeper into Plutus TX, we will use a contributor token validator in a case study. Okay, so they want us to review this real quick. So let's see the script. So this is your validator script. So those are our imports. These are our levers we're using. We know that the hash token is a bool, maybe out. Okay, so we did kind of go through this already with James as far as concerned. Okay, step by step. Before you get started, send your PBL token to your CLI wallet. Create your new directory, transactions, and then write the redeemer file in the transactions directory and create a new one called update.json with the following contents. So this is what's going to change our lucky number, constructor 1, field 5. Change the number 5 to whatever lucky number you would like. And then write datum file. Also, transaction, create a new file called new datum and the following context. So this is pretty straightforward. What have you done so far?
I think I'm having a much bigger problem. My repo just cleared all the way out, and I'm not sure if something must have happened.
Okay. Are you using a live environment on your terminal, or are you using a remote environment?
All right, let me it's the remote environment that we set in lesson 1. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick.
Yeah, cool. Is there a way for you to run a live environment on your own computer? Do you have enough power?
I think I do, but I'm afraid that with the amount of stuff that I'm running on my computer, it's probably going to slow down considerably.
I know. I literally just bought like 3 computers because I have so many environments that I'm running. It's like if I don't divide it up, I keep crashing myself. So I get it.
Okay, let's see what's going on here. I think the meter run is running. Let me see.
It is running. So if you go into the VS Code, yeah, that should give you access, and we should be able to run it in terminal here. So if you hit Control tilde, okay, you got your terminal here. And oh, you have a transaction file already.
Yeah, I've started building it. The transaction. I think what was happening was I was trying to actually define all of the variables. What I did was to create. Where is that thing?
The new datum.
Not the new datum. As a folder here where so I was trying to like build all of the variables in one and just pull them in. So this is the address that I actually created on lesson, I think it was on 101 or something. And that's the actual address that I generated. Now I can start. The first question that I have, of course, is when I'm starting to do this, I guess I'm starting to do it inside the transaction folder.
That might.
So am I sitting into transaction folder, or am I sitting into the folder that I use to define all of my wallet details and payment details?
I am actually not completely sure, but in my experience, when I've had this issue, I've backed out into the main library that had all of the important components. And then
Okay, that's the repo pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So let's.
I don't know if that's 100%, but to me, I think I've experienced that issue, and I did have to leave the direct folder and go out into the main folder because that's how it compiles. And then you just make sure that you can, it puts it in the correct location when you're done.
Okay. All right. So that means if I just copy this and that runs, and then I can go ahead and query the address. Where is that thing? And see if it pulls. So sender's address has been defined.
Nice.
Copy and where is that thing? Oh, this guy. Okay. See? So it's I'm not getting anything from querying the sender address, which is weird. It tells me that I have a Cardano node socket path error.
So in my experience as a stake pool operator, when you have a socket node path error, that means that either the node is not running or it is not synced. So yeah. So, but we know that it's running because we checked. So I don't know what that, I don't. Oh, wait. Can you go back? I think it had a solution in there for us. It says to add in testnet match. Oh, yeah, because you're trying to deploy this. It says to query address, sender's address, and you have the right reference for the sender's address. Command query UTXO error while looking up the environment variable. I don't know. It's like error code. Here, let me see if I can find a solution for this. Let's see what we can get. Can you drop that error in chat for me?
Okay. Command failed.
Yeah, it's definitely not syncing. Oh man, I'm actually feeling better than when I started in this meeting. I've been pushing myself. Holy smokes. I haven't been that sick in forever. I worked in the hospital for 25 years. I went through COVID working in the hospital before I retired. I don't think
that'd be rough.
I don't think I've ever been that sick, man. I could not get up for a solid week. And I love to get out, dude. I'm a mountain biker, skier. I get out things, I get out everywhere, man. And I was like, I could not lift my head. Okay, cool. There's the error. Thank you. Yeah, don't get this one. I called my ex-wife and she was like, yep, there's a 7. She's an ER nurse. She's been an ER nurse in town for 22 years.
Oh, wow.
And so she was like, yes, there is a 7-day bug going on right now. So she's like, yeah.
That is not fun.
So
I mean, if the node, I'm afraid that maybe I ran out of DCU.
That could be it.
Because I one day I left the meter run running for like 10 hours, and I'm doing the trial version of it. So I might have to just put some buy some DCU or something, that subscription
Or you could just
service.
or you can just throw up a VM and then just run a native environment. Then you don't have to worry about paying.
That's right.
Because that's what I did. If I can show you my screen, I have a virtual machine, a Linux virtual machine, and then I just run everything in that VM. It doesn't take that much computing power, but you do have to have enough. So let's try. I really do.
What is enough?
What's that?
What is enough? Like, how much are we talking about?
For computing power?
Yes.
I think you have to have a minimum of 16 gigs, but if you're going to use this on the side, I have 64 gigs of memory in this computer. And so for me to run a virtual machine and run a node inside of that, it doesn't hurt the computer because it only needs 16 gigs to run the node. I have 64. So I think as long as you have enough memory and hard drive space and obviously CPU, I have an i9 in this computer. It's got like 24 cores. So I can do it. Plus I just bought this Mac Mini, and then I bought another Mac Mini with the new M2s. I have 2 Mac Minis right here. I haven't even set them up yet. I'm going to be running test environments on these ones. It's funny, I got them in the mail and I got sick and they literally just sat there all week.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna figure something out. Maybe just run the node locally instead of hopping on the meter run. Maybe that won't take as much space. I actually have a bit of space in my computer, but I'm just doing quite a lot. Sometimes I mess around with music software and video editing and stuff. So that gets heavy very quickly. That's why I didn't want to run the node locally, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Anyway,
are you gonna head out? Just to let you.
I'm having to head out. It's almost 12:30 here.
Right on, man. Okay, well, just a heads up. I was actually having a hard drive issue with space, and so I found a 2 terabit solid state external drive for $61 on Amazon. So if you're worried about the node database taking up a lot of your hard drive space, you can have it on an external for $61, 2 terabits. It's more than you'll ever need, and it won't bog down the computer that way. So
I actually have a 1 TB Samsung SSD drive that I have. I only have music on it, so that might actually come in handy.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I do know that you have to go, but if you see me in the study room and you want to do some studying, pop in, buddy. I'd love to hang out with you.
Hey, fantastic, man. Hey, thank you.
All right, man. See you later.
Matt.